Welcome to this week's Trade Plates TV news. Our top stories today: all cars tested in a government inquiry exceeded limits for nitrogen oxide, but who were the worst offenders? Volkswagen has reported its first annual loss in more than 2 decades, and the Advertising Standards Authority has ruled against a misleading "We Buy Any Car" email. All cars tested in a government inquiry set up since the Volkswagen diesel emissions scandal exceed the lab limits for nitrogen oxide when tested in real-world conditions. That's what was revealed in a report published by the Department for Transport, stating that none of the 37 top-selling vehicles in the UK met the legal level of 180 milligrams per kilometre. Cars meeting Euro 5 standards, which could be sold up to September last year, were all substantially higher in real-world conditions than the measurements recorded in the lab, according to the study. The Vauxhall Insignia was the worst performer in the inquiry, emitting over 1,800 milligrams per kilometre. Even the best performer, the Citroën C4, was found to emit 3 times the legal lab level. This week, Plant Oxford celebrated 15 years since the first BMW Mini rolled off the production line in April 2001. The BMW Group, which is marking its centenary year in 2016, acquired the Cowley-based plant in 1994 and relaunched the brand in 2001 with the debut of the Mini hatch. Since then, more than 2.5 million Minis have been produced in Oxford, with 80% of the cars made here exported to more than 110 countries around the world. Volkswagen has recorded its first yearly loss in more than 2 decades, after taking a £12.6 billion hit for costs associated with the emissions scandal. The German car maker reported an operating loss of £3.2 billion for 2015, the firm's first loss since 1993. It's now been confirmed that VW will make substantial payouts to US owners of vehicles fitted with the defeat device software to cheat nitrogen oxide tests, although so far it has ruled out compensation in the UK. Under the terms of the proposed US deal, Volkswagen will offer to buy back almost 500,000 cars equipped with the software that disables emissions controls when the cars are not being tested. The company had delayed its earnings announcements until it could get a better estimate of the costs involved. The Advertising Standards Authority has upheld complaints against We Buy Any Car following an image of a graph emailed in January and February 2016 that it ruled was misleading. In an email sent out by We Buy Any Car to consumers, the company included a graph showing how cars would depreciate in value from high to low over the course of 3 months. The email suggested that values of used cars could fall following increased new car stock, and remarked that now could be a good time to sell. We Buy Any Car stated that it believed it complied with the relevant advertising codes, and that the picture was only for illustration purposes. Volvo has announced plans to carry out the biggest and most ambitious trial of driverless cars on UK roads in 2017. According to the Swedish car maker, a limited number of semi-autonomous driving vehicles are set to hit the streets of London next year. The programme will then be extended to 2018, with 100 vehicles allowing real families to try out the new technology on real roads. Infiniti has announced the appointment of Barry Beeston as the new country director for the UK. He will take up his position with the company from May 1st, 2016, moving away from Nissan MotoGP. Shell has unveiled a concept car which could deliver significant reduction in the energy use by using cutting-edge technology through a process of co-engineering whereby the vehicle body, engine design and lubricants are all created together. Independent testing and a rigorous life cycle study shows that Shell's concept car would deliver a 34% reduction in primary energy use over its entire life cycle when compared with a typical city car available in the UK. The Shell concept car would use around half the energy required to build and run than a typical small family car, and 69% less than a typical SUV. Alternatively, fuel vehicles, including hybrid and pure electric cars, have increased in value by an average of £1,502 year on year, to record a 7% increase over the same quarter in 2015. According to the latest Auto Trader Retail Price Index, the gap over conventionally powered cars continues to grow, especially over diesel, where values for average used cars continue to decline year on year. Portsmouth-based dealer Prestige Diesels has rebranded with a new name, logo and website. It was all unveiled at its launch event this week, where we caught up with the owners and the designers of the new website.
Because we've established ourselves as Prestige Diesels, we didn't want to lose our association with that, so we were very careful when we changed the name just to add something, and we didn't want to be Prestige Diesels and Petrols because it doesn't really sound, doesn't really ring very well. So basically, we just came up with Prestige Diesels and Sports Limited.
I think for us, for the future, is we've established ourselves in 5 years. And it's where we go in the future. You know, what awards can we win? How can we be different to other dealers? How can we please our customers? And how can we just be exceptional as a business, really?
Well, we were introduced to Prestige Diesels through a mutual connection, and so we came down and met them, and it was clear very early on that there was a lot of synergies between the two businesses. And I think what they liked is our passion for our business, and it was very clear to us as well at the start that they wanted to create their own identity online.
An 8-month redevelopment programme to transform the Audi showroom in Lincoln into an enlarged energy-efficient dealership, representing a £2 million investment, has been completed by JCT 600. Located on Donington Road, work began on the 2-acre site last summer. The new sustainable dealership features one of the most advanced building management control systems in the motor industry, with energy usage able to be controlled and closely monitored. Gym memberships, phone bills and new clothes are all seen as bigger financial priorities than making car leasing or finance payments, according to new research. The poll conducted on behalf of the Money Shop quizzed respondents on which financial commitments were most important after payday, and found that drivers are failing to understand the serious consequences of not making car finance payments on time. And finally, Sir Arnold Clark has become the first billionaire car dealer, according to the Rich List 2016 published by the Sunday Times. The 88-year-old's family is reported to be worth more than £1 billion, having risen £350 million in the last year. The Glasgow-based firm Arnold Clark Automobiles was founded in 1954, and profits reached a record value of £107.2 million in 2014. I'll be back again next week with more news. Catch up with our previous episodes by clicking here, or subscribe to our mailing list to get the next episode first.